Welcome everybody to Big Ben and Ty Sports Cave. Little special edition show tonight on a Thursday night. Uh, Before we get going on the prep for tomorrow night's game against Knoxville, Wade, go ahead and give a shout out to Bayleaf Indian Restaurant and Bar for us.
Of course, Bayleaf Indian Bar and Restaurant located in downtown Peoria by the riverfront, just a couple of blocks away from Carver Arena. Great place to enjoy some Indian food, something a little different than maybe your typical pregame meal, but great food nevertheless. They cater to your taste, whether you like spicy food or not. You can bring the whole family there. Um, just go down there, give them a try. It's a great atmosphere, great service, and you're sure to be set. And you can tell them Wade and Big Ben and Ty Cave. Yeah,
Yeah. So get on down there, get some good food by Bayleaf Indian Restaurant and Bar. Go down there and get some food before tomorrow night's game. Tomorrow's a big night. Before we start with Rivermen talk a little bit, Peoria Speedway will be racing this weekend. As of now, um, they are doing the Gary Cook Jr. Memorial. I believe it is 1,064 or 1,564 to win for I believe the modifieds. So if you're not much into hockey, go ahead and get on down to Peoria Speedway. That'll be their first race of the season, actually, since they've been rained out the last couple weeks. So that is really the only racing really news I have to talk about. So we'll get right into this next round. We're actually going to even talk about the Roanoke Evansville because honestly, Wade, I think that's going to be a brutal series. I mean, it's going to be a black and blue series, I think, between them. And honestly, I hope it is in a way because the more they lean on each other, the more tired they'll be. And hopefully, if Rivermen pass Knoxville, maybe we'll get a very tired Roanoke or Evansville team.
yeah. I mean, both matchups are grade A matchups. I've kind of hinted around the fact that I mean, no matter the outcome, you got a great finals coming your way. No matter who advances on who, uh, it's going to be a brutal series regardless. Make no mistake. Uh, Knoxville don't play like a seventh seed, especially in the playoffs. And those two teams, Dogs and Thunderbolt, they're both very similar styles in a sense. Very physical. Um, they it's going to be a brutal grinding series for sure. And I'm excited, dude. I'm really excited for this second round, and I'll still be catching the replay after I get home from the Rivermen games for sure, and checking out Thunderbolt Roanoke.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a very, like I said, I will probably do the same. I think that series is going to be a very interesting series. They're both hard hitters, uh, very physical teams to be going against each other, and it's going to be fun. And Peoria is going to be a good series too, because I mean Knoxville's no slouch when it comes to playoffs either. I mean they're going to be tough, and I believe Muddinger's probably going to be the goalie, and when he's on, he's a very tough goalie to score on, and with our offensive side still kind of struggling in a way, I just hope they pick it up for this weekend. Wait, we did pretty good against Macon.
Yeah,
Um, Defensively, of course, Latinovic looked great. Uh, as he's back to the playoff Tino. That's who we need. Because honestly, I think Trudell is going to ride him and throughout the playoffs, which that's his choice. That's like we've made our opinions known, and some people agree, some people don't agree. But if Tino keeps playing the way he is, I mean, it's hard to keep him out. So I mean, he only let one goal in what 3 games.
2 games. He
Two
let
games.
one.
2 games. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 games. I'm thinking 3-game series.
Yeah.
Um, 2 games. I mean, that's pretty darn good.
And it was a power
Um,
play goal, too. Not even
yeah,
a strength goal.
yeah, and that save he did on Caden Henry. Um, I don't know how he kept that out of the net. I really don't. I think even Caden Henry can't even believe he kept that out of the net. So and honestly, I'm gonna say it, Macon's offense runs through Caden Henry.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was Caden Henry's show, and I'm glad he's back to where he's confident. He's shooting the puck. I just kind of wish he was wearing a white jersey or a dark blue jersey, and it
I
said
mean,
Rivermen on it.
I bet you he led the team in ice time. I mean, there wasn't many times I looked on the ice and didn't see his number 9 making mayhem jersey on the ice. I mean, power
Yeah,
play, when they were on the power play, I don't think he went to the bench at all. I think he was out there the full 2 minutes. I mean, so when you say making mayhem ran through Caden Henry, it literally did. You could tell they tried to set him up literally every single chance they got. They were banking on Caden Henry. I understand in a way because he is a premier goal scorer, but I also think that hurt making mayhem in a way as well. Just basically relying purely on Caden Henry.
yeah,
So, um, but like I said, I think we were ready for that. I think Tino was ready for that. Caden got the goal for making mayhem, and really, I think he got a little help from. Like Tino made one slight mistake, and that's all it took for a goal scorer like Caden Henry to capitalize on that. But again, it was on the power play, and in the end, it didn't mean much. So, I mean, we could have been looking at back-to-back shutouts in the first round. In all
yeah,
honesty,
yeah. And like I said, it was a good series. I am glad that it didn't go to all 3 games. Um, that way we got a little bit more rest. I think than Knoxville got, because I think Knoxville went 3 games. Correct, Wade? Correct me if I'm
yeah,
wrong.
but double overtime.
Yeah, I mean yeah, they started before we did, of course. I believe didn't they play on Wednesday, and then they played Thursday or Friday, Saturday.
I'm honestly not sure. I would have to
Yeah.
look.
So I mean, they kind of get the same rest, but when they went into double overtime, I mean that takes a lot out of a player. It really does. Um, and I think hopefully we're more rested. We didn't have to travel. That was a big thing too. We didn't have to travel as much. I think we had to go down to Macon, of course, but we had a good day of rest, and then basically all day Saturday to rest for that night. Knoxville kind of they went boom boom. So like I
Well,
said, I
you don't have to go to Knoxville. Knoxville comes to us. So
exactly. So and I'm sure Knoxville will be. They probably already in Peoria, to be honest. I mean, a lot of those teams they come a day before and get here, and yeah, it's going to be very interesting this weekend. Um, I am actually not going to be able to make it to Saturday's game. Um, I have prior engagements, so I will definitely be there tomorrow night. I'm hoping they just win this weekend. They go down to Knoxville, they win there the first night, and then we just move on.
yeah,
That would be the perfect scenario. I think if we get into one of those make it or break it games with Knoxville, I think Knoxville is I don't want to get in that match with Knoxville because I really think they are a really good team and really good under pressure. So it's just one of those things where we just got to wait and see what happens and go from there. Wade, what else did you take from the series against Macon?
Like I said, our defense and goaltending really showed up and showed how good they can be. They make no mistake. Caden Henry's a premier goal scorer. He led the team in shots, and he had some good shots on goal too. And Tina was just ready for him. Our defense was playing well to limit the quality of Caden's chances. Our offense, they showed glimpses of what they should be, where they should be at. But again, me, I'm a little more picky. I think our offense can still be better yet. Obviously, I don't think it's where it can be, especially with our power play. I will go on record and easily say our power play is the worst out of the 4 teams. Like it's just awful right now. It's not nowhere near where it should be. And I think that's really got to change going forward. They really got to figure out what's going on with their power play, because even if we had a 5-on-3, like I remember not long ago, we had like a 5-on-3 for like over a minute and still could only get 1 shot on goal. That's awful. And so they really got to figure that out. Our penalty kill is top notch. They showed that too against Macon Mayhem. Their only goal was a power play goal, but multiple things, taking undisciplined penalties and the officiating being just horrendous, led to a lot of those calls. I mean, and I'm not just talking about the Rivermen game. I'm talking about every single game, every single series. I don't know how it's humanly possible, but it's some of the worst officiating I've ever seen. I've seen beer league officiating better than what was going on around the league in the first round. It was awful. I would be embarrassed if I was the official. They got to be better. I mean, coming down into the semis to the finals, I really
there
hope
we go.
the league had like a little meeting. Like, you guys just like totally sucked that first round, and you got to do better. That was awful.
Well, and when I saw Straley was going to be our referee, I was like, "Yep, we're done." like this is going to be interesting because it's just with him and Grooms or whatever his name is, they have got to be the worst ones out there. And it just seems like in big games we always seem to get Straley or Grooms. It's one of those two. And like kind of like what you said, I'm not just saying against Peoria, but like there was some calls that they missed for Knoxville. Like there was a couple calls that the Rivermen, I'm like, that was blatant and didn't get called. And it's just, I don't understand. Are they just going out and hiring people off the streets? Like, hey, you know how to ice skate? You want a ref? like
one call, for example, against Connor Smool. Connor Smool was literally stationary with the puck.
Yes.
He just got rid of it, and the guy literally skated into him and knocked himself, and they called Connor for interference.
Yeah, I remember that.
Connor was stationary. He didn't even move. And the guy skated into him.
Yeah. I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, how is that interference when he was about to get checked? Like, the guy was coming to check him, and you're going to call him on interference? Like, I'm a little confused on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like that. That couldn't have been a more botched call if you tried. And yeah, and look, I'm not normally, and you know this to be true too. I'm not one to normally complain about officials. Certainly not going to blame them for a loss. I even said in my post, ain't nothing you can do about it. All you can do is focus on your game and look for a way to get it done. That's all you can do.
Yeah,
But again, it's just that officiating's got to be way better. That was embarrassing for officials, and I mean what I say. I've seen better beer league officials. I when you go to see the Peoria Mustangs play, I've seen better officiating in those games.
yeah,
Like it was bad, and you have two of them, two refs refing in the play. There's no excuse for that type of officiating. It's horrible, but I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, that goes both ways. You got to find a way to stay composed and rise above that and play your game. That's all you can do,
yeah,
and find a way to get it done. And that's what Rivermen did, and that's what they're going to have to do against Knoxville. Knoxville, man, they're a gritty team, and they are good at basically sucking you into their style. They like to get on your nerves and get you to take undisciplined penalties. They
yeah,
play on the edge a lot, and they like to frustrate their opponents. Well, the flip side to that, how you counter them, is you don't take the bait. And they will start to get frustrated. They're not getting the calls. And then they're going to start taking calls themselves and getting frustrated themselves, and you could flip the script on them. That's the theme this whole series with Rivermen is they got to stay composed and play their game and can't be taking dumb retaliatory penalties.
yeah,
Because that's what they're going to try and get them to do. They're going to chop at the Rivermen skates. They're going to give them a little extra face wash, maybe hold the stick a little bit on them. They're going to do the little things that frustrate the Rivermen to get them to retaliate and take a penalty. They can't take that bait, especially from a player like Dawson McKinney, Mr. Embellishment himself, Mr. Take a Dive. He is probably one of the best in the league at drawing calls because he'll do those little things to frustrate you. And then when you retaliate, he'll act like you shot him with a shotgun and draw the rest attention. And he's good at getting those calls made against him because he thrives on the power play. That's the
yeah,
stuff you can't get into.
yeah. No, I agree. Um, and they are, like you said, they are very, very good at baiting people on and getting into that. Um, and we need to just play our game and not play their game. That's the main thing that we need to do, because once we play our game, we're we're really good. We want them to try to play our game, because I know we're better at our game than they are. So, and I think that should be, one of the goals um, for the Rivermen this weekend. Because, like I said, Knoxville is tough. It's not like I said before, it's not like they're just gonna roll over and die for us. So um,
They have an explosive offense. They score in bunches, right? One goal can turn into two or three goals at the snap of a finger.
yeah,
They showed that against Huntsville, that that they can get the momentum rolling in their favor. You look at the scoreboard, it's like, okay, they got a goal, and then all of a sudden, wait, they got like three goals on us. What's going on? So,
yeah,
that we got to be careful of that snowball effect. And like I said, that's why composure is a big key component. Composing ourselves, not taking those penalties, not getting caught off guard with the goals and getting down on ourselves. We got to stay present. We got to stay focused and really just play our game against this team. If we don't, we can get in trouble. I mean, we got the better defense, we got the better goaltending. They got a hell of an offense, but if our defense and goaltending show up, we can keep pace and exceed them offensively. But it's really contingent on our defense and goaltending showing up, in my opinion.
Yeah. So let's switch gears a little bit. Let's kind of talk about the Evansville Knoxville game. That is going to be just that's going to be just a brutal series. I mean, you got the heavy hitters in that is just going to be, like you said, I'm going to kind of keep my eye on that one, to be honest. I think Evansville wants to make it, back to back, back to back championships. I mean, they want to do it. They know what it takes to do it. So I think it's going to be a very interesting series with like Joe Winmar and all them too. So I mean, what how do you see that series going? Do you see it going for all five?
I think it could. I think it definitely has that potential. It helps for Roanoke that they got the home ice advantage. This is going to be a real tough test for Thunderbolts to keep pace. You look at the goaltending. I mean, you got Austin Rodebush in one corner. You got Christian Stead in the other. I mean, those are two outstanding goalie that's just a hell of a goalie matchup,
Yeah.
honestly. Um,
Yeah.
the defenses on both sides are grade A defenses. Uh, Especially, I think the Dogs' defense is underrated. Um, but they got great players over there with like led by Matt O'Day and CJ Valerian. These guys know how to play defense. They know how to lead a defense. Um, Oftentimes you focus on Roanoke's offensive output, but they got a hell of a defense over there too. I think they showed that against the Rivermen. Um,
Yeah.
and they're paired up against one of the best defenses in the league against Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts know how to get in those passing and shooting lanes and clog them up and block shots and get the puck out of the zone. They've been making a living of that since last season. So, I mean, and then they're physical, like you said, they just match up so well against each other. So it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic because they're going to frustrate the hell out of each other. They really are. There's not many fights, but there's going to be some scrums, and I wouldn't be totally shocked if a fight or two broke out because I have a feeling some of these scrums are going to be intense
Yeah.
um, against these teams. So, like I said, my attention is definitely on them. If I wasn't, if I'm just an SPHL fan, say my team got knocked out. I mean, I might be watching that game even over Rivermen and Knoxville. Like, not saying Rivermen and Knoxville won't be a hell of a game. You got to keep your eye on that matchup too. But I mean, this is also the first time that the Dogs and Evansville has met up all season long.
Yeah.
So that's just going to be an intense matchup. I'm excited to see it if I'm a hockey fan. that this is the matchup to keep your eye on because it's going to be very, very entertaining and very physical. And it's basically who's going to impose their will more in this
Yeah.
matchup.
Yeah, no, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a defensive matchup. It really is. Could it be a high scoring? I don't see it being very high scoring, to be honest. I see 1-0 games, 1-2 games. So it's going to be interesting to see when those two meet up. And like you said, it's the first time this year that they meet up. Just like how we faced Macon, that was the first time we ever played Macon this year. So we had no, scouting report, I should say, on Macon because we didn't see them. So it's very, it's going to be a heck of a weekend. Let's just say that. The next 2 weekends, it's going to be fun. This is the playoff semifinals schedule for the Rivermen versus Knoxville. So game one. So these are Eastern times. So it's not 8:15. It is 7:15 for us here in Central Illinois. So Knoxville will come to us Friday and Saturday. And then Thursday, we will be at Knoxville. Friday, we will be at Knoxville. And game 5 will be back at Carver Arena at 3:15 on Sunday if necessary. Wade, what do you think about the 5-game series? Do you think the first round should be 5-game series?
I like the way the format's set up. This is the first time I really don't have any complaints. I'm okay with the first round being best of 3. I really don't got too many complaints on that. It's like I said, I never think a finals matchup should be a 3-game series. I don't agree with finals matchups ever being a 3-game series. So 5-game series, I love that. Even the semifinals, them deciding, you know what, let's just go ahead and make that 5-game series as well. Yeah, I applaud the league on that. I think that's the way it needs to be and should be. That first round, yeah, we can leave that a 3-game set. That's the first round. It's understandable. When you get to the final 4 and then obviously the final 2, I mean, you want to see bare minimal 5-game series in that. I mean, it would be awesome in my opinion to have a 7-game series in the finals, but that I know that's being greedy. I get that. So I am content and happy with what the league did here with the 3, 5, and 5 setup format that they have for the playoffs.
Now, when we start maybe possibly adding, new teams in the league, I kind of see them maybe making best out of 5, in all 3 uh, rounds. Uh, maybe. I mean, I can kind of see that maybe being a trend. Of course, there's so many rumors going out that we're getting a new team. We're getting a new team. We are getting a new team, but they won't be here until 2027, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. The
Yeah,
27th
but
season.
yeah. So next year we'll have 10 teams. Now, a lot we said this on the last show. Iowa after this year is done. So do we possibly see a team in the SPHL from Iowa?
Yeah, because it's weird how they are. I don't know. You can't even really say disbanding or anything because they're leaving the door open. They're saying we're not going to be in the ECHL like due to financial reasons next year, but they're leaving that door open. Like they're basically saying, we don't want to close down for good, but
Yeah.
they need to reevaluate and reconfigure some things to make that market more sustainable, so they're not struggling as much and losing as much money, because unfortunately the attendance hasn't been very good over there. And yeah, it can be a strain on the owners when you're losing money, way more than what you want, especially how long they've been in the league. You got to reevaluate, or you end up shutting the doors for good. They could very well be open to joining, like say the SPHL, new league. Yeah, it's a lower league, but I do think joining a new league could help boost their numbers and maybe help them be more competitive. So, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, I wouldn't bank on that team joining the SPHL because I'm sure they want to stay in the ECHL, but it's got to make sense. It's got to make
Yeah.
sense for them to stay, because they're not going to steady lose money every year like that and just accept it. They'll just close the doors for good.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see how that goes with them. I got my eye out on them for sure.
Yeah. I'm really hoping if they do decide to go to a different league, they decide to come to the SPHL and not the Fed. Um, it'd be kind of irritating to lose, another one, you know, to the federal. I mean, there's been rumors for years, that Fort Wayne was supposed to come to the SPHL. You had all kinds of those older teams. You had like when I used to watch the Bloomington Prairie Thunder. You had like the Chicago Hounds and uh, Flint Generals. Uh, you had the Kalamazoo Wings, which they are in the ECHL. You have Fort Wayne Comets. They were playing against the Prairie Thunder. They're in the ECHL. Um, I'll give a shout out to Bloomington Bison. They are they don't seem to be struggling as much as people thought they were going to struggle.
Yeah,
They're getting a big fan base pretty much in Bloomington, um, and surrounding towns there, and it's good to see. I don't um, think that we need to uh, think that they're competition, like some people are. I'm glad to see uh, uh, Central Illinois getting more hockey. I mean, I wish we had, more around us, Uh, like it'd be cool to have a Springfield team, you know, or Decatur or something, Um, and when Bloomington Bison came back, there was so much negative about it. They're like, oh, they couldn't keep an SPHL franchise. Who says they're going to keep a ECHL? Well, I mean, this is what their second season, and there's no rumors of them folding shop. So I mean, my hats off to them for making it work. They're really, getting their name out there, getting fans to come to the games. I mean, yeah, they're small. It's a small crowd, but still, I mean, it's a lot better than I think. So, I mean, like I said, uh, I hats off to them, and I hope they're around many, many more years. And I kind of wish they were affiliated with the Blues, um, but I guess the New York Rangers will do.
yeah,
And and that's another thing. Since I have you on here, I'm not surprised the Blues didn't make the playoffs this year. I know there's a couple guys that I know they're like, well, they should have made the playoffs. Well, honestly, I think this is a I wouldn't say this is a total rebuild season, but I think it's the entry to a rebuild stage, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, getting rid of Braden Shin, bringing up some younger players. Uh, I just don't understand. You know, they could have probably waited, but I understand why they traded Braden Shin. His market was good, and you got to get something when their market is good. It's kind of like uh, the what's his name, my Bennington. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't try to trade him, but me and you talked about it on the one show. His no trade clause was almost half of the league. So I mean, it's hard to trade a guy that doesn't want to go to a certain team.
And I mean,
So
blows, blows. Blues have showed their willingness to deal with captains plenty of times to trade them. I mean, you look at Backus, you look at Petrangelo. I mean, they're not scared to move on from their captain to
yeah,
kind of re-bolster this squad. And I mean, even though he's named captain now, I mean, they tried to even trade away Colton Parayko, but Parayko vetoed the trade and didn't end up going to Buffalo. But they basically had a done deal with Buffalo to send Parayko over there. Which, if I'm Parayko, I am shocked he didn't go because Buffalo just finished first in their division, and that team is very, very good. They're going to be very good for years to come. Very young team, and like there's some young teams now that are really starting to come alive that weren't there in the past. Like I promise you, in years coming up, San Jose is going to turn into a powerhouse. Anaheim is going to turn into a powerhouse. Buffalo is going to be one. Like you're starting to see kind of evolution of newer teams. Utah's becoming a better team. I mean, it's I'm kind of in a way like excited about the NHL landscape moving forward. Even the Blues, they're getting younger, and there's some good prospects mixed in there. Like I said, if you trade Jordan Bennington, I'm not necessarily against the trade, but for me, it's got to make sense. Like that's a
yeah,
trade you can be somewhat picky on because I don't think Joel Hofer is it. I don't
yeah,
think so. If Hofer was more of a franchise type goalie, I think Bennington would already be gone.
yeah,
Uh, but I really don't think Hofer's it. He's good off the bench. He's had some great games, don't get me wrong. But as far as like a 40, 50 game goalie that can really lead a franchise, I don't think he's there. So you can be more picky with Bennington and really get your money's worth with him. So and I think that's what Blues are doing. Like, look, we're open, but we're just not going to hand you Bennington. Like you're
yeah,
gonna give us something for him.
yeah,
So like I said, I look for Blues to have a better season next season. I'm not saying they're going to be playoff and cup contenders and make a deep run, but I do think they'll have a better, more competitive season starting fresh next year. Same with like Hawks. I know Ben ain't here to talk about the Hawks. Hawks are a very young team as well, and I think they'll have a better season next year as well. And Blues have no choice but to keep pace with these teams. Otherwise, they will be left behind,
yeah,
and it's going to be tragic the next
yeah.
few seasons for them.
Yeah, and
So
Anthony says we have solid young team. We'll be back in the hunt next season. Not to mention we will have Steen as our GM starting this summer. I sense big changes and for the better. And I
yeah,
agree with you. I agree with you, Anthony, 100% on that. Steen needs to be in there making, definitely making the decisions. Um, I also hope that they are grooming Steve Ott to ultimately become, you know, the Blues head coach. I would love to see him be the head coach. Um,
and take your time with that. Don't rush hot into a head coaching job.
yes. I think keep him down in Springfield for a while in the AHL. He only took over that team, not too terrible long ago. So, I mean, just kind of, like you said, just kind of take your time with it. Get him a couple years in AHL and then see where we're at on that. But I really do hope that they are grooming him to become the Blues head coach. I would love to see that. And yeah, Anthony, you're right. Otter has been great for Springfield when he got sent. Monty has been great, but could be better, and that's 100% true. Um, I I don't know. I had a soft spot for the Chief when he was our head coach. I really liked him as a coach, and I don't know. I think a lot of people, and I agree, Armstrong needs out. He should not. He hasn't really done a whole lot for this team. Um, I think Steen is maybe a better fit, but sometimes you got to think who else could be better. At that. I like how they're keeping Blues alumni involved. I'm not saying I don't like that, but sometimes that can hurt you more because they're emotionally attached, to a player or emotionally attached to a coach. So yeah, and some people, I mean, Blues fans will know who I'm talking. I mean, most NHL fans should know who I'm talking about when I say the Chief. But uh, so yeah, I'm just gonna say that the Blues. I think they'll be better next year, and well, I hope they're better than this year. Let's just
Yeah.
hope that. I mean, I wouldn't mind maybe making the playoffs next year. We weren't too far out this year, to be honest. If you really look at it, we weren't that far off. Um, I think if we would have made the playoffs this year, that would have been above and beyond what I thought this team was going to do this year, to be honest.
Well, and,
So,
and I was like, I just want to see him start the season well. Like what the past 2, 3 seasons, it's we just have a horrendous start to the season, and then after that quote unquote all-star break, just all of a sudden you see him start playing like you wanted to see him play at the beginning of the season. Like we
yeah,
put ourselves in such a hole to start, and then towards the end you see us slowly digging our way out of that hole, and it's just like that's not the way to do it, guys. Let's
yeah, yeah,
have that hot start and sustain that, and I just I don't know what it's going to take to do that. And in my opinion, just the goalies, no matter who it was, Bennington or Hoffer, it was just subpar this year. Just I don't know. I've seen that this might have been. I don't have like numbers in front of me. I'm just going off pure gut, but this might have been one of Bennington's worst seasons. And I love Bennington. I've always been a huge Bennington fan. Uh, yeah, he helped us win a championship in 2019. Forever grateful for that. I mean, he is the guy that starts for Team Canada still currently. He's
yeah,
got skills. He's He's a great goalie, but we need him to be more consistent. I mean, seems like he takes games off from time to time. So I would like to see more consistency from Bennington because I know he's capable of that. But also, like I said, I know we're open to moving on from him. I just hope if we do, it makes sense and we get what we need out of him. That's all I ask. I don't want to just get rid of Bennington for the sake of getting rid of him.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, no, I heard you, and I agree 100% on what you said. Um, with that being said, let's give another shout out to good old Bayleaf Indian Restaurant Bar, and then we'll go ahead and get into our big three.
All right. Bailey Indian Restaurant and Bar located in downtown Peoria, right on the riverfront, a few blocks away from Carver Arena. It's a place where you can park your car and walk on up to the game for free. They got good food for the whole family. If your kids don't like spicy food, don't worry about it. They got you covered. If you're like wife or girlfriend doesn't like spicy food or yourself, again, they got you covered with basically everything on the menu. Um, get on down there, check them out. It's great service, a great atmosphere down there. Um, and like I said, the menu options are great down there. So check them out. Tell them Wade and Big Ben and Ty Sports Cave sent you, and enjoy yourself an awesome pregame meal before a Rivermen game.
Yeah, so get on down there and enjoy some good Indian food. And like I said, tell them that Wade sent you and we sent you. And I'm sure they'll be appreciative of that. So without further ado, or maybe not. There we go. Now it's going. Let's go ahead and get into our big three. Wade, go ahead and give us your big three for tomorrow night as we face against Knoxville.
Yeah. As we kind of stated, like, Knoxville is not going to be a walk in the park. This team is a very solid team. I know we had a good record. I think we were like 6-1 against them in the season. Don't bank on that during the playoffs. Playoffs is a different animal. Record for 0-0 when it comes to the playoffs. They got a great team over there. And they can really explode offensively on you out of nowhere, late in games, early in games. They got some good players, some good young players. Tyler Williams, Jared Westcott, Blake Tusko, Jason Branchow, Ryan Kuzmich. These are all great players. Mitch Atkins, great player. Dawson McKinney, great player. They got some talent on that side that can move the puck well and put the puck in the net. So one of my big keys for the Rivermen is defense and goaltending. I think that is going to be very key in this series and in these first two games, particularly at home, because we're going to need these two games moving on to Knoxville. So we really need our defense and goaltending to show up for this series. It's vital. It's how we win this series is by keeping players like I just mentioned off the board at a minimal, because they're going to be moving the puck well. So we really got to clog the lanes, the passing and shooting lanes, and block shots well and move the puck well out of our zone. And our goaltending has to be sharp. Can't let in soft, leaky goals against this team because that can create a snowball effect and really get the confidence up of Knoxville. So we've got to frustrate them with our defense and goaltending. The second key is stay composed. You got to stay composed in this matchup. The longer it goes, the more frustrating it's going to get, not just for us fans, but for the players. You might have to overcome calls going against us. Um, you got to stay composed in that moment. You can't get frustrated and lose your focus because that's when they're going to start scoring in bunches. So, no matter what's going on, no matter what they're doing to us to get retaliation calls called against us, or how the refs officiating the game, got to stay composed and we got to play our game. And the third key is offensively get Muddinger on the move. Don't have him be stationary. We got to get him moving laterally and we got to get to rebounds. We got to keep it mixed up against Muddinger. We cannot give him an easy night. Got to keep him moving. Got to get to rebounds. And we got to keep putting the pucks on that. We can't be taking like 5 shots, 6 shots a period and thinking that's good enough. We really got to start putting the puck on the net a lot more often, especially against a goalie like Dinger, and we got to be getting to those rebounds. So that's my three um, keys to this game is, defense and goaltending, staying composed, and get Dinger on the move and get him to open up and give us openings to put the puck in the net. Now, players, I could name about 7, 8 different players that I really need to see come alive in this series. I'll keep it limited to 3. Don't worry. First player I want to mention is Michael McChesney. I think he is going to be extremely key in this entire series. Forget just the first game or two. We need Michael McChesney to show up in this series and need him to score goals. Not saying he didn't show up in the first round, but I would have liked to see more production out of Michael McChesney the first round. In this second round, it's not just a want, it's a need. We need Michael McChesney to show up. My number 2 guy is Garrett Devine. I thought Garrett Devine had a hell of a first round. Got a couple of goals. He's gotten an assist. He got himself involved in every game. He was playing hard, being physical. When he was on the ice, you knew it. And that's got to continue in this round against Knoxville. I think Garrett Devine is a very key player as well in this series against the Knoxville Ice Bears. And finally, I got Jordan Ernst. Jordan, he didn't have a bad first round, but it could have been better. And Ernst, he's a vet. Okay, he's got a couple of rings with the Peoria Rivermen. We really need to see his leadership out there on the ice and his production on the ice go up. I would love to see Ernie get a goal at some point in time here in Peoria and build off of that. And I think he's more than capable of that. So those are my 3 guys: McChesney, Devine, and Ernie for the players.
Okay, my big 3 I'm going to start with for the game. Big 3, number 1 is kind of like what you said, get Muddinger moving. Get misdirections, get the tips, misdirect, I can't talk right now. Get in front of the net and get like you said, the rebounds, deflections, and I think that throws Muddinger off. Once you get him trying to move side to side, I mean, he's a big guy, so he doesn't get across the crease like other goalies can, and with that though, he makes up with it with his size. So if you get him misdirection, I think we should be good. My second, of course, is I always say it is control the neutral zone between the blue lines. If we can control that, like I said, good things happen uh, for this team. My third is I and you know and I'm going to say this is we got to be better on the power play. Special teams, like you always say, special teams might be a factor in this game. So I would like to see the power play get rolling and get rolling fast. And I think uh, if we do that, those three, I think we'll have a good game. My big three players, I'm going to highlight Latinovic because, like I said, I'm sure he's going to be playing. We need another big night or a couple games out of him, like he has been. Like I said, keep on that. Um, I think he's going to show why he helped us win a cup back in whatever 2000 whatever it was. Um, so my second one is going to be Mike Gillette. He is very good at the forecheck, and I think he is, and it kind of ties in with my key, get in front of the net, and Mike likes going in front of the net. He likes to get those deflections, and hopefully he can maybe do the misdirection with Muddinger to score on Muddinger. Like I said, he's a big goalie, but if you get, like we said earlier, if we get him going side to side, he's not as fast as the other goalies, but he does make it up in size. So you got to really be pretty accurate with your deflection when it comes to that. My third big three player is going to be Josh Martin. He's just the solid defender. He separates man and puck, gets some big hits. You can tell he's a defensive leader out there. He takes charge, and we kind of need that with this team too. Because we got a lot of we haven't really said a whole lot, but we got some young players that are not they haven't been here for years and years and years. We have not really mentioned that. So it is kind of nice to see, the ones that have been here for just a little while, help the, younger players and get, up to speed and what to expect. And I think Martin does a really good job with our defenders with that. So those are my big three. I believe, Wade, do you have anything else before we kind of wrap it up here?
Like I said, this is a winnable series for Rivermen. I mean, look, it isn't. I'm not going to disrespect Knoxville at all. That's a great team over there, and they can give anyone in the top four fits. I mean, you've seen what they could do against Huntsville Havoc. They swept them. I think they could give Roanoke fits, and they could give Thunderbolts fits just as well as us. These guys do not play like a seventh seed, but if we play our game and we do things we're supposed to do and execute, uh, this could be a 4 games and done. Like I think we can win our home games, and then we just have to split in Knoxville, and that series is over. We don't even have to come back to Peoria for a fifth game, and I think that's very achievable. Like I said, as long as our defense and goaltending show up and we execute the way we're capable of, we can end this series in 4 and move on to the finals. For the first time since we've beaten Havoc in there, and then quickly with Roanoke and Evansville, I do give a slight advantage to Roanoke. If you held a gun to my head, I would pick Roanoke to move on over Thunderbolts by the slightest of margins. And just because I pick Roanoke does not mean I think Thunderbolts can't get it done. I absolutely think the Thunderbolts can get it done, but it's going to be a tough task. I do think Dogs are really good at overwhelming their opponents. Thunderbolts not playing them yet this season. They haven't seen what this team is capable of. I think they can catch them off guard, especially early in Roanoke, and put the Thunderbolts back on their heels. And that can be an issue for Thunderbolts, but they can dig their way back in this series, make no mistake. I hope it goes all 5 games. I hope they play 5 hard, gritty, physical games against each other before playing Peoria. So, and the 5th game would be in Roanoke, which is part of the reason I give them a slight advantage over the Thunderbolts. So I'm excited as you are, Ty, I'm sure, for this semifinals, and I can't wait to get it going tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a very physical and very awesome series, both of them, to be honest. So here again, here is the schedule for the Peoria and Knoxville. Game 1 is tomorrow night at 7:15, Civic Center. Then they will play Game 2 at the Civic Center on Saturday at 7:15, and then Game 3 will be in Knoxville on Thursday at 6:30 our time. And then Game 4, of course, is at Knoxville. It'll be 6:30 our time, and then Game 5 if necessary. Really, if Game 4 and Game 5 if necessary, but Game 5 will be back at Carver Arena on April 26th on Sunday. It'll be at 3:15 start. So, with that being said, again, Peoria Speedway is racing as far as now. On Saturday, they are having the Gary Cook Jr. Memorial race. So get on out there if you're a race fan. If not, go down to Carver Arena and watch some playoff hockey and possibly go eat bay leaf before you go to the hockey game. On behalf of myself, Big Ben, and Wade, thanks for sharing, liking. Thanks for watching the show today. And Wade, we always try to keep it what style?
We always try to keep it Rivermen style.
All righty, everybody. You all have a great rest of your day, and we will see you on Saturday. You all have a good night.